What's up, everybody? I just did an Instagram live. We were talking about major sevens and minor sevens and their application, some misconceptions here. This sort of comes up with a lot of my songwriting students as well when they're trying to create a mood out of their chord progressions. But there's a little bit of a misconception when we start getting into this sort of theory without applying it just yet. So let's take our major seven, okay? If I were to just do a 1-4-5 all major in the key of A, right, has a definite major sound. I'm gonna strip that back now, and I'm just gonna go power chords, which means the third of each chord is not in there. And it creates a little bit more of a hollow sound, right? Hollow, sort of like that rock sound. Right? Now, adding the third, especially on my tonic chord, it adds that much of a major sound, right? It has that big major ring. When I then go the next step and add the major seven to the tonic, I'm gonna do specifically here. When I add that major seven, it doesn't go the next step further and make it more major sounding. So if I take that, right? And that's a little bit of a closed form, which I'll explain. And then if I do an open form, still mellows it out a little bit, right? It takes that major sound, that sort of like exciting, sort of vibrant major sound, and it pulls it down just a little bit. And then really quickly, what I meant by a closed sound and an open sound is, think about the way that the notes are sort of stacked on top of each other. This has a much bigger spread to it than this does, right? And we could even get more closed more closed than that if we really wanted to. So it's literally how close the notes are together to each other. If I did this, I now have my root, my major third, and then my major seven, like all right on top of each other, and when we're dealing with major sevens, minor sevens, and dominant sevens, we don't always need the fifth in there. So that's a super closed one, right? Those notes are really close to each other. This voicing's a little bit different. It's a little bit more open, right? And then this one's super open, right? So let me show you the more used major sevens. If I do my root note here, 5th fret on the top string, and then I'm muting, and then I have a 6, a 6, and a 5. What we're doing here is a root note, nothing, and then major 7, major 3rd, 5th, right? That's that voicing. If I wanted it to be a little bit more open than that, I could do this form, which I really like, which is I put my thumb up here for the root note, nothing, so that's muted, and then I have another root note, 3rd, 5th, and then my major 7 sort of floating up there at the top, right? And that's stacked a little bit more, more like up in thirds, and really lets that major 7 sort of float up there at the top. Now, if I do either one of those, right, you can hear it mellows the sound out a lot. And there's a few reasons for that. One being is it sort of mimics a minor triad, a minor chord within the major 7. So really easy, if we take the visual of the first chord that we did, that sort of 5 mute 6 6 5, if I just take my first finger on the root note and just move it down to this C sharp, the 4th fret on the A string, I just have a minor triad right there, C sharp minor. So it's almost like a C sharp minor with an A in the bass, right? But because of the way that chord is stacked, it's actually a major 7. And that's the same right here. We can use almost the same visual, right? If I just take that straight down, 7 6 5 4, right? That 6 5 4 is right out of that C sharp. So that's where we start mellowing out some of that sound. Now, this works the same sort of concept for a minor 7. If I take, let's say, the power chord again, right? if I add the minor third to each one of those, very, very minor sounding, especially on that tonic. And then I could do the same thing. I'm going to add the dominant on the fifth to sort of wrap it up and make it feel really resolved in a minor. 7, and then a minor. Very, very minor sounding. Now I'm going to do the same thing, make them all minor, and then end on a minor 7. Not the same impact, right? Especially dominant fifth to my minor. And that really is because that dominant fifth, what we have is that major 7 in the key of A minor that wants to resolve to the A. So if I add the flat 7 in there, now we have like the major 7. It resolves to the A, but there's also a flat 7 in there. It just gets a little convoluted there. But you can hear how that really mellows it out. Not exactly, that super minor sound. So as we go from power chord to minor, right, we're now sounding more minor. And then if we keep going and add the flat 7 to make it a minor 7, we're not getting more minor from there. And we can use this same sort of logic. If we look at this minor 7, the way that I would usually play would be like root nothing, and then flat 7 minor third fifth, right, straight down. So just like 5 nothing 5 5 5, nothing on the bottom string. And if you look, that is straight out of a C major. So it's almost like a C major with an A on the bass, but the way that chord is structured and stacked, that would make it an A minor 7. So you see how it's sort of playing off of hiding a major triad within the minor 7, in a sense, which would not make it more minor. That minor 7, the way that it sort of plays off of the fifth and the minor third.